Okay, I think I figured out the issue. Hey, okay. We are indeed live. Sorry about the technical uh weirdness there. I I had to make that work happen. So, give me just a moment while I reconfigure some screens so that I can get my Substack chat opened up because that was causing me some problems here. So, let's just go. Why I don't have the live stream showing in my feed. Okay. All right. We are there. Hey guys, welcome to today's class. Thank you for joining in. Thanks to all my subscribers. This is one of your subscriber benefits. If you want to watch this later time, consider updating to your subscription to a paid subscription. I certainly appreciate that. Um, Today, I'm going to be talking about macro photography, and that means close-up photography, and it covers a range of topics. So I've got stuff prepared. I want to thank my photo enthusiast subscribers who are joining me here live in Zoom, and uh, and hopefully everything is coming through just fine for everyone. So got a little multitasking going on, going to try my best, but let's jump into this. And Zoom people, you've got the meeting chat there direct in Zoom, so you can ask me questions during the class there. And so let's dive into to this topic here. If I can make it work. Okay, I call this getting close, the fundamentals of macro photography. All right, there it is. Looks like I'm broadcasting. Woo! There's a first time for everything, so thanks for your patience today. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Um, give a brief overview here. Um, I have a little introduction, share some photos, and I want to talk about some of the fundamentals. This is the core level fundamentals class. I want to talk about the challenges with macro and close-up photography. I want to talk about the tools that we use for macro and close-up photography, and then I'm going to give some tips for composing shots, for using lighting, and doing a little post-processing. This is not a post-processing class, just some ideas. Okay, so I want to mostly focus today on the techniques that you need to know and some background that you should understand about macro photography. What I really like about macro photography is that I'm not talking about necessarily taking pictures of, you know, eyeballs of a fly, although that is cool. I'm talking about just getting closer. And I have found over the years that having a macro lens is a real fun thing to have. In fact, when I was starting out getting, newer cameras, film cameras, after I bought a zoom lens, the next lens I bought was a macro lens because you can have so much fun with them. They let you do all kinds of stuff, and they're really great optics. They tend to be really good lenses. So let's talk about a little bit about macro and close up. Just want to share a few photos first and go from there. So I'm talking about just having fun with your camera and being able to be explore things on a small scale. And I love this because you know, you don't need to have, anything can be a subject for close-up photography. It's just an interesting subject by itself. So it's like I like to joke, it's a rainy day project. But when you have any kind of any kind of subject and you have a macro lens, you can get real close to it, and it's potentially quite interesting. Now, you normally think of things like this, the extreme close-ups of the wing of a butterfly where you can see the individual scales, right? But it doesn't have to be that. It could just be tight shots. This is flowers from the Rocky Mountains up near Crested Butte, Colorado, with the nice water drops on them. Same with here, this shot. When I was down in Panama a few years ago, um, we had some poison dart frogs that we encountered, and these things are really tiny. They're only about, you know, oh, I don't know, 2 or 3 centimeters long. So having a macro lens meant that I could photograph them and fill the frame with them in ways that I couldn't with just a regular camera lens. And the classic, you've got your moths and butterflies on flowers, but also some abstract stuff. This is skunk cabbage, I believe, near Crested Butte. So this is one of the big um, plants that grows up in the high elevations. And I gave this one a monochrome treatment, and you can see the shallow depth of field, the more classic flower close-up photos with the water droplets on them. So these are just examples of the kinds of things you can do if you shoot close-ups. So let me jump in now as we get into the classroom part of today. The fundamentals of macro photography. The first thing I want to do is define a few terms. And the first term that I'm going to define is called the minimum focus distance. Okay, and that's the closest distance that you can get from your subject between the subject that you're focusing on and the sensor or the film in your camera, where the lens is still able to focus. And when you look online, like you're looking up specs on lenses, say you're going to buy a lens, it will usually